Hi everyone, how's everyone doing here today? I just want to say thank you for watching, and the thing I wanted to talk about today is words matter, and that's in relation to public figures, specifically those in the media and politicians. And it's in the wake of the recent shooting that happened in Colorado at a gay nightclub. And mostly it's a lot of talk that I heard during the midterms and everything about this whole hatred thing against, LGBTQs and transgenders. And, the simple truth is words matter. When these people say these hateful things, mostly things that are untrue, they have consequences. And of course, right now they're playing the victim, namely certain people like Tucker Carlson from Fox, no big surprise there. Matt Walsh, he's another right-wing media outlet. And our most famous troublemakers, people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert, who throughout the midterms were always saying things like trigger words just to, get their base riled up. Words like, gender mutilation, child abuse and everything, grooming. That's the big word that gets everyone all worked up these days. Here's the thing. And this is out to the voters and the people that actually watch and listen to this nonsense. Do you even stop to research or think about it or wonder if it's even true? Because don't get me wrong, if a child is being abused, I'm opposed to it. And I think the abuser should be held accountable. However, the, law mandates. But here's the question I have about all this alleged gender mutilation that's going on. Can somebody give me an example? And I mean a real solid example, not, some hearsay or, my cousin told me this. I mean, name a state, name a hospital, name the doctor, name the victim, the young child that was allegedly abused, because of him identifying as a transgender. One example, that's what I want to know. Because there's also been a lot of other stuff like that, like these, drag queens that are having children put dollar bills in it. I have never seen any nonsense like that. There have been at some libraries and some schools where some people go in drag or cross-dress and read to the children for the sake of teaching them things about who they are and how to be accepting of all walks of life, of all types of people, regardless of their gender, their identity, or, what their orientation is. It is a part of education, okay? This whole exaggerated thing about dollar bills. Another big story I hear is children supposedly identifying as animals, like cats, where they have kitty litter boxes in the classroom. Has anyone heard anything so nonsensical? I mean, being that teachers and everybody out there, Tom, Dick, and Harry pretty much has a smartphone with a camera where they can take pictures and videotape at a drop of a dime, you would think there would be a whole bunch of pictures or videotape of this alleged incidents of, kids behaving like cats. You know how many pictures or videos I've seen of that? Take a guess. 0, none, not one. I don't buy it. I don't buy into it. And if somebody says something about something along those natures, whether it be related to child abuse, I actually stop to look into it. Like I said, I don't immediately assume it's this bad, but I do stop and think, what is going on here? I've never seen anything of the sort of some of these hateful people, these public figures describe. And guess what? Education is an essential thing. Schools not only teach, students about sex, they teach them other things like mathematics, like science, like history. And I remember when I was a kid, sometimes my parents would tell me certain things based on what we saw on the news or on the television. I remember as a kid seeing the movie Death Trap, which involved a brief gay romance between the two lead characters. And that was something my mom had explained to me, that, there are times where people of the same gender will be attracted to each other. Or on the news, they showed a woman, a prostitute, dressed in a rather flamboyant way. And my mom had explained to me, they're called prostitutes. They are basically women who sell sex. It was all part of education. It wasn't grooming. It wasn't anything like that. I didn't grow up to be trans or gay or anything like that. That is just something in this people's nature, regardless of their education. But people don't want to accept that. People just want to, believe what they want to hear. And why? Because it feeds into their hatred. I mean, honestly, what is it about the LGBTQs and trans that you all hate so much? What did they do that was really so bad? There's no grooming going on. There's none of this, like the woke mob or any of that other nonsense that DeSantis spews. There's none of this kids identifying as cats with kitty litter. And like I said, show me an example. Give me a solid example from a reliable source. Not Alex Jones, not Breitbart, not Steve Bannon, not any other, right-wing figurehead that lies consistently. I'm not into QAnon. I'm not into conspiracies. I'm into facts. Show me a reliable source where this is actually going on. And like I said, if it turns out it is the case, if there's some doctor that is abusing children, yeah, he should be held accountable. But that's not what this is about. This is not about talk. These are figures on the right that have their hatred, that like to exercise their bigotry against LGBTQs, against trans people. And they put out all this nonsense for people to listen to. And because some people aren't inclined to go out and think, or at least research, or second guess. I mean, is there somebody out there, when they heard about, kids and kitty litter, that they really bought into that they immediately believed that? They didn't stop and think? Come on. And it gets to the point where you have extremists going out and taking matters into their own hands. They get fueled by a lot of this hate talk, about a lot of this bigotry from public figures, If you repeat a lie enough times, people start to believe it. But do these, extremists stop to ask questions? Do they stop to think? Do they speculate? Or do they have any skepticism whatsoever? No. All they want to hear is child abuse, grooming, gender mutilation. And then these public figures wonder why incidents like this occur. And they always claim to be blame-free. It's not my fault. I didn't do it. And in past videos, whether it relates to LGBTQs or not, I've always encouraged people to don't go out and commit acts of violence on behalf of these other people. If there really is such crimes being committed, I would think that, local officials would look into it. Don't feel the need to go into a club or a gun or a school and take matters into your own hands. Don't give in to the hate talk, because then you pay the price for it. Not to mention the fact that it is illegal, it is morally wrong. You don't believe me? Oh, really? Okay. So, as I always like to do, let's put the shoe on the other foot, and let's see how you all would feel about that. Let's say it was media figures from, say, like CNN or MSNBC, or let's say it was politicians on the left. Let's say it was AOC or members of the squad that were spreading hate messages about certain politicians, about certain news outlets. Let's say somebody went to Marjorie Taylor Greene's house over rumors and assaulted her husband with a hammer because she wasn't there. Do you think she would just say, oh, it's nothing, that there's no accountability on the squad's part? What if they said things like, oh, we should defund Fox, And then somebody takes a gun and actually goes to Fox with the intention of defunding. What would they say? Would they just excuse it all and everything? No, they would be riled up. People on the right would be accusing the squad of spreading hate speech. What if somebody went to any other club? What if a group of people went to Florida to the intent of kidnapping Ron DeSantis, like they did with the governor of Michigan? You think the right would just sit idle and say, oh, no, people on the left, media figures on the left, they didn't do anything wrong, it's not their fault? No, they would point to that. I don't think there's any legal term, and I get they're always going to fall back on free speech, which is why I bring up the point is that we, the people, the voters, the citizens, have a responsibility. People in the media on the left have the responsibility to call this out. Call it out for what it is. It is hate talk, it is lies, and it is just meant to gaslight and get people riled up. And you can't look at me and say that people likes of Tucker Carlson, Matt Walsh, Lauren Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene, just to name a few, don't know this. They know. Some of them are stupid. They are not that stupid. They know by saying these things, it's gonna inject a subliminal call to action to these people, that they should go out and do something. And when a crime commits, they sit there and play the victim. Oh, why are they blaming us? Why? Because you tweet stuff that instigates hate. You say things that instigate hate. You do things that instigate hatred, that bring on these calls to violence. Like I said, if anyone on the left did it to them. And do you think these people really care? Let's be honest with you. Do you think any of them really care about the children? You do? Okay. Well, tell me this. What happens when there is yet another school shooting, like the recent one in Uvalde? What happens when the next one happens? What do you think they're going to do, just like they did with Uvalde? Are they going to propose any type of gun reform or changing laws or putting in gun regulation to try and prevent such atrocities from happening? No. They're going to sit there and make excuses, thoughts and prayers, and in the end do absolutely nothing. Why? Because the NRA plays good blood money for them. And they don't want to, disrupt their profit margin. In other words, that acts of violence carry more weight to them than the lives of children. They don't care about children. They are not pro-life, and they are not patriotic. So you call them out for who they are, the troublemakers that they are, the lies that they spread. Lauren Boebert, she gave a tweet where she says, she feels bad that this type of thing. Screw you, Lauren. You are a liar and a hypocrite. All you care about is guns, which was on full display with that Christmas card, that horrendous showing your kids posing with guns, because that's the meaning of Christ. You don't give a shit, all right? You don't care about LGBTQs. You're a liar, you're a bigot, and you're just full of hate. You only care about guns and gaslighting. Tucker Carlson, who's been spreading. The hell with you, Tucker, all right? You are a liar and a coward, and that was on full display when somebody confronted you in public, where you had nothing to say, but put you behind the camera in Fox, where you're free and clear from harm. Yeah, you have plenty of things to say. You're an absolute disgrace. And you yourself have said it. It is all just opinion. You're not spreading any facts. You just want to get people riled up. Say you about Matt Walsh. You are without thought as you are without compassion. You don't care. You don't base anything on facts. You just make some general things just to get people riled up. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, you are probably the biggest offender of them all. You are a sick, twisted person. You don't care about children. And spare me your bullshit white supremacist, Christian nationalist, religious beliefs. You don't believe in God. You don't care about Jesus. You don't care about any of these things. Because the things you do are done by a person like you without soul, without spirituality. You just use that whole Bible nonsense and that Christianity nonsense as a prop. In the end, you don't care. You're just there to rile people up and show your hatred. A white country that is straight population. That's all that you want. You are a racist. You are a liar. You are a coward. You know what you can do with your gazpacho, Bill Gates burgers. You know where you can take it. Yeah, I know, I'm pretty emotional because, incidents like that concern me because who knows where the next shooting is going to happen. I care about people regardless of what state that they live in, regardless of their identity, the color of their skin, or, what their orientation is. You're supposed to be believing in freedom. What about their freedoms? Do they not matter to you? If they're not hurting anybody, if they're not doing anything illegal, then why not let them live their lives in peace? We have a people. We have a responsibility, not just to ourselves, not just to the people in our community and to the state we live in. We have a responsibility to tell the truth, and that when we see wrongdoings like this, atrocities like this, we call it out. And we call out the people that are responsible. We let them know that this is not acceptable. This is not the American way. We don't want this kind of violence happening in our states, in our communities. That we care about people of all walks of life. You take the hate out of the equation. And you call out this right, hateful rhetoric for what it is. You do the right thing. You take the hate out of the equation. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I really hope you understand.